listening to the Reasons Podcast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
What's up, people, and welcome back to the Reasons Podcast. And first of all, if you're wondering why the hell I'm standing up, a couple weeks ago I bought a standing desk, and I just felt like I'm really cool, like one of those guys that's got two screens. And anyway, we're back with season 3, and I've never felt more free. Like, I've never felt like I've had a couple of returns on the Reasons Podcast, right? Season 1, had a little break because I had hella games, and I didn't record an episode 1 week, and I was like, hey, let me just skip another week, and I was back a month later. Then, the gap between season 1 and season 2, hey, there was some stuff going on in my life, so I was like, hey, I can't do it right now, right? But this is different. This is like a different kind of freedom. This is a different level of change, you know? There are different ideas. There are different reasons behind the Reasons Podcast, you know? Episode 1 of the Reasons Podcast was the reasons behind the Reasons Podcast. And the reasons have changed. Like, they've changed completely. Back then, I was doing it because it was fun, right? Back then, it was because I was making YouTube videos and they were getting a little bit long, and it was like, hey, why not just have a podcast where it can be an hour and a half and that's okay? But now it's almost like a infusion of all of the reasons that I started making content in the first place, and all of the reasons that I wanted to do stuff like this in the first place, right? So, wanting to talk with my friends about certain topics, wanting to talk about sports, wanting to put everything that I have together in one space. So much has changed because it's been so long, and I'm no longer in certain places, and I've been to certain places, and I have new things to do. And the only word I can describe it as is freedom, right? Last time I was here, still in uni, still playing basketball, hadn't had the summer that I just had. Everything was different, right? And it meant that the way that I treated the podcast was also completely different. I realized that back then, the podcast was just, you know, the fun part of what I did. It was like the most fun part of creating content, because YouTube videos, this is one thing I'm going to quickly say about YouTube videos, is the pressure you feel to do good editing and like make it, I don't know how to describe it other than YouTube appropriate, is just irritating. Like, it annoys me that I have to spend 3 hours editing this 25-minute video, because if I don't add these things, like these transitions and later, I don't think people are going to like it. And I think that's why I've always liked the podcast, because I simply do not edit them. They are just record, talk, end, post, right? Add the intro, add the outro, whatever. But that's it. But the podcast is like, it was just, how do I put it? Before, it was almost like an escape. Like, it was low-key like therapy in a sense, because it was an escape from the things that I didn't like about creating content. Like, I didn't like that long YouTube videos were not enjoyed. I didn't like that, because I don't really like TikTok and Instagram Reels and Shorts, even though I do watch them sometimes. Like, I don't like the way that they work, but you have to make them, really. Like, if you make a 30-minute YouTube video and you're not clipping it up into shorts, you're actually just being stupid at that point. Like, what are you making the video for if you're trying to like actually engage with people? And that stuff I didn't enjoy. So the podcast was just like an escape. But now the way I think about it is completely different. It's like the podcast is somewhere that I can talk about things that I wouldn't have the time to talk about in a YouTube video. Like, I just recorded, this is very funny. Before I get into what I was just talking about, I get really hyperfixated on things. So the end of season 2 was a really cool debate, actually, that I had with I said debate like there was multiple people. This really cool conversation I was having about the greatest of all time and the best of all time in sports. So, you know, you have like Novak Djokovic, probably the greatest of all time in tennis. Roger Federer, probably the best, most talented. Same with basketball, you got Michael Jordan, probably greatest of all time. Then LeBron James, probably the best all-round player. If you enjoy that kind of thing, go watch that episode. But I recorded the next episode of this season, of season 3. I recorded that last night. And me and the guest, who I'll allow that to be revealed in the episode, the guest and I were talking about football, and we were talking about the Liverpool-Chelsea game that happened last weekend. And we were able to go into so much depth into why things happened, why things didn't happen, what worked, what didn't work, the future of, both teams and whatnot, because it was a podcast, right? I also made a YouTube video that I just finished editing that will go out probably next week about Liverpool's new signings, and I was able to kind of go into detail about, what I thought of the players, why I think they're not playing so well, why I think that they'll be good in the future. But I didn't have the space because that video is already 30 minutes long or 25 minutes long or something like that. And for YouTube, that's the upper echelon of, or like that's the upper limit really of an engaging YouTube video, because guys are not watching 25-minute videos anymore. So the podcast is actually a place where I can do some of the things that I'm actually relatively good at when it comes to sports. And I think that's probably one of the biggest changes that's happened since, or that have been made since I was last here on the podcast, is that before I was kind of doing a bunch of everything. I had so many different interests, whether that be philosophy because I was studying it, sports because I was playing it, journalism because I was doing it. Now we kind of have a sports focus, or I have a sports focus, because, and this is quite funny, because now I actually have to do something, right? I have to make something of myself because I'm not in school anymore. Like when I was in school, you look at other people in your class, you're like, damn, these guys aren't doing any extracurriculars, right? They're just here to do uni, and bro, that's fine. Like, you can go to uni, just do uni. Like my sister's like that. She just goes to uni, does uni, doesn't really do anything at uni other than her classes. And that's fine. I was playing basketball. I was president of the club, like running the club. I was doing the YouTube, the podcast, the short form stuff, like all of that at the same time, writing articles. And sometimes you think, well, I could just not do that much more. Like I have no reason to do that much more because I don't have to do this full time, right? First and foremost, I'm here to study. So if this takes a back seat, then it's okay. Like it's not really that big of a deal. But now, brother, if I don't make something, then I can't live at home. And I definitely don't want a 9 to 5, right? I don't want a 9 to 5 because I think it's like it would limit me. It's like, how do I put it? I have so much belief in the things that I think I'm good at that I think if I had a regular job, I would actually be angry every single day because I would feel so limited. So now I have the opportunity to express that belief in myself by putting all of these things into practice, right? So the podcasts are now a place where I can pull up a screen share and get a tactical board up, right? I can get, hold on, let me share this. And this is one thing that's really cool about the video being part of the podcast now, is that like you can see what I see. And this is one thing, and I probably should have done a bigger introduction to what the hell this is, but this is what I've been doing over the past month since I got back from where I've been all summer, which was kind of spoiled by the other tab, but so whatever. So yeah, this is my website that I now have where I write articles about sports, and I've managed to even keep some of the aspects of philosophy in here with this little philosophy and sport tab, where I can talk about some of the things that I learned and some of the other things that I'm interested in and relate them to sports, which is again something that I think that I'm relatively good at, is like making links between certain things. And that's all because it's not just something I'm just good at, it's because of what I learned on my course. Like you make links between different papers and different ideas, different theories or whatever. So this is the crown jewel of my little, I guess, brand, if you could call it that. I don't want it to, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, this is essentially what I have going on. And it's a cool website because it brings everything together. I think that was one thing that I didn't have before, was the synergy between all of the avenues that I was posting content to. So on the website at the top, for those of you who can't see the screen share because you're just listening, you've got the YouTube link, which links right here to my YouTube videos. Then you have a link to the Instagram, and this has been relatively active because I've been making little shorts and little reels about the articles that I've been writing. And again, that's another part of the synergy between every little avenue, every little aspect of what I'm doing, is that it's all linked now. So this article right here, this is, again, for those of you who can't see, about Liverpool's start to the season. And then if you look at my reels, this post is about that article. And this post is also similarly kind of about that article. This reel here, which I think is actually my best performing. Oh no, this one is. This one's about baseball, the NL MVP race, and this one's about basketball. And they are both about the respective articles I wrote about those topics, right? So obviously, this podcast episode is not about any specific topic because it's a bridge between season 2 and season 3, as I said. Kind of felt right to have that little bridge and talk about the changes. But going forward, each of them should have some relevance to either an article I wrote or another podcast episode or just something that I'm doing outside of just that one episode. And I think it works because if someone's interested in that episode, they can go find other stuff that's similar. They can go find other stuff that is then similar to other stuff. And then you have this rounded kind of, I guess, set of outlets, if that makes sense. But yeah, on to where I've been for the last 5 months. Because I think if I pull up the podcast, which again, you can get from the top tab on the website, the last episode was May 27th, which is almost 5 months ago. And I've been gone from making content for like 5 months as well. This YouTube video is 5 months old. And this was essentially just a podcast, right? It's like 40 minutes long. I barely edited it. This is really the last YouTube video I made about Gen Z. And that was 7 months ago. So over that time, I've been in America, which is where I went. I went there right at the beginning of June. I went to this place called Camp Winadoo, which is this place. I think that's Manny, I think, right there. I actually can't see because I don't have my glasses on, but this is Camp Winadoo. It's this summer camp with like 400 kids, 200 counselors. They play sports all day, every day. It's really cool, right? It's like my idea of heaven. Like the lake's right here. You've got a bunch of tennis courts, a bunch of basketball courts. And essentially you're just coaching kids all day, every day for 7 weeks. And I was there for, obviously you have a staff week as well. So I was there for 2 months. And then I was in New York for a month, 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after camp, which was also really cool. I was basically there on my own for the most part, which was pretty cool. And it kind of, on a side note, showed me how much I actually love America, because I had an idea that I love America and that I'd love to go there. But if I could go tomorrow, I would go. Like I'd quite literally pack my bags and go tomorrow if I could go and like do something there, right? So yeah, that's where I've been for the last 3 months, I guess. But I also finished my, I don't know what I'm about to show you guys. There we go. Yeah, I also finished my master's degree. So this is my final dissertation, 15,000 words. So that also took up a lot of my summer, and it low-key like hijacked my experience at camp because I had to take some of my days off to do uni work, which was pretty insane. But yeah, that is essentially where I've been for so long. And although I haven't really been making content in that time, it gave me a lot of time to think about what I wanted to do. Like I met at camp a bunch of people who, as much as I didn't talk to them about what I was going to do, they gave me a lot of ideas and I guess some pointers in a sense about what I could do and what I could make of myself. Because my whole idea behind this is that I think that whatever I have this vision essentially for what I can do with all of my avenues, my YouTube, my podcast, all of it, right? The website. And I, for some reason, have this delusional idea that like it will become that if I just keep trying and I keep having belief in the ideas that just pop into my head. So just before I was leaving camp, and some people were like, "Hey, what are you gonna do? Like your master's degree finishes in like a month. Like, what are you gonna do?" I was like, "Brother, just give me a sec." And then I got back, designed this website, thought of how to tie in every single outlet that I have. How can the podcast relate to the YouTube? How can the YouTube relate to the Instagram? How can the article relate to all of it? And the podcast is the last thing to, I guess, return. So like, I've made reels, I've made YouTube videos, well, not made YouTube videos. Like I've edited them, haven't put them out yet. But I've written articles, all of that stuff. And the podcast is the last thing to come back. And it's because it took me the longest time to figure out how to make it work with everything. So I think now I have it in my mind, like how can I make the podcast part of the entire thing? And I can almost keep some of the things that I really loved about it before, which was the fact that I was able to just talk, not worry about editing. I don't know if I already said, but like some of the stuff about short form and YouTube and whatever, it just irritates me. Whereas a podcast, you just start recording and that's it, right? You start and you stop and you post, and that's what the point of it is. And tying that into sports is much easier than what I was doing before, right? I always have a topic, right? There's always sports going on. There's NFL games. There's the MLB playoffs are on right now, which have been some of the most insane games of baseball I've watched in so long. Like just last night, I'm not even going to get into it, but there's always something to talk about with sports, right? And the podcast gives me an opportunity, especially now that I've got the video and like the screen share and whatever, to do some really, really cool analytical stuff, which is, as much as I love playing sports, the X's and O's of sports are what like keep me coming back. Like the fact that I can pull up a tactical board of a football pitch and say, look, this is one way that Liverpool could play. This is another way that Liverpool could play. This is why Barcelona is so good. And I can do all of that analytical stuff, which is, again, something I think is pretty, not unique, but it's unique to the kinds of stuff that I'm doing. Like people aren't writing articles and doing analysis videos and making YouTube videos. And I think the podcast can fill that role, right? It can fill the more long form X's and O's, down to earth kind of, and that's the thing, is like it's more down to earth than some of the stuff you watch. Like The Athletic is probably my favorite YouTube channel when it comes to sports and journalism, whatever. But they have a job, right? They're just talking about the X's and O's, and the people that are talking are not the big deal, if that makes sense. Like JJ Ball, he's so cool, right? He's one of the like best, I guess, and now no, I don't know what to call him. He's not really, I guess he's a journalist, but he's really like the face of the Athletic when it comes to like their YouTube videos. He's always the guy that's like talking, whatnot. He's not really the reason people are watching the Athletic, right? People are watching the Athletic because they have really cool graphics, they've got really cool stats. It's like if someone stands in for JJ Ball, they might drop some views, but that's not the reason that people are coming back anyway. So I have this idea that I can kind of have like this well-rounded personality or well-rounded set of outlets where people are going to watch some of my YouTube videos because they just find them entertaining, but they're also going to tune into a podcast as like, oh, that's really good analysis of the game. So it really is just about believing that it's a process, and that every time I put out a podcast that is bad in a sense, or that I'm not happy with, is that it's okay. Like I can still put it out, right? I have this little sticky note on my monitor that says, remember, it's all a process, because sometimes I do some work and I'm like, this is trash, right? But it's part of the process, because next time I know not to do what I just did that was really bad. So yeah, there's definitely like more of a rhyme and reason to, good pun actually, because it's the Reason podcast. There's more of a rhyme and reason to the things that I'm doing, and it is because now it's like make or break, really. Like, I don't want to see it as that because it's like that places a lot of pressure on it. But because now I've identified that this is what I want to do, whereas while I was at school, I was still in between, like, I could just go get a job or I could continue doing this. And there wasn't really that incentive to really go all in. Now I kind of have that, and it's definitely a nice feeling to be like, look, I'm literally waking up every day and putting time and effort into this, like every single day. Like I'm barely doing, like I don't know how healthy this is, bro. Like I'm getting up and I'm writing and I'm doing research and I'm recording and I'm editing. But like, am I going outside enough? Like, do I need to reevaluate my values or something? But no, on the real, like it's nice getting up every day and having something to work towards. Like something that I want to work towards as well. Because for the last, I guess, year and a bit, that's kind of what uni wasn't for me. Like I just simply did not care about my master's degree. Like I don't want to, it sounds really bad. I did it because one, I didn't know what else to do. Two, I was good at it at undergrad. Like I was really good at it. So I was like, it's kind of like a free master's because I'm not having to learn anything new. I'm just doing everything I did for the last 3 years. So it shouldn't be too difficult. And it ended up being really not difficult at all. And I got to play basketball for another year. And I got to be at uni for another year. So it was kind of like this perfect storm of reasons for why I would return. But the actual course was so shit. It was just so shit. All of us thought it was shit. Like no one enjoyed that course to the point where they don't even have it next year. Like well, I say next year. The new school year has started and they don't have a master's philosophy degree at the University of Nottingham because of how shit it was last year. Like that's how bad it was, bro. So now I have actual interesting things to get up and talk about. You know, some of these articles, and I'll pull up the screen share again. Some of these articles have been like some of the most fun things that I've written in my life. Like, I don't know if this is kind of extreme to say. This article here about how similar European and American football are, I kid you not, I was just playing FIFA and I was playing 4-5-1. So for anyone who doesn't understand formations in football, there's like a flat five across the middle of the pitch, like the midfielders are a flat five in a 4-5-1. And I was like, yo, this is eerily similar. Like, why am I getting this really similar feel to something else? And the weeks before, because this was right at the start of FIFA, and then the couple weeks before, I was playing hella Madden, like so much Madden, bro. Like I was really in my American mood. I was playing Madden all the time, and I was like, wait a second, the five in the 4-5-1 and the underneath five in the cover two defense for like in the American football cover two defense are so similar. So I stopped playing FIFA. I was like, okay, I'm going to write about this. And somehow I have this whole, I guess it's like 1,500 to 2,000 word article about this idea I had while I was playing FIFA, which is so much more fun than me having to write about race because my lecturer said that that's the only thing I could write about. Like, can you imagine that? Like I said, hey, I want to talk about this. She was like, brother, no. Why don't you think about race? It's like, are you out of your mind? Like, I don't want to write about race. Like, that doesn't excite me. But now I'm getting up and because I'm the one that's determining what I write about, it's fun. You know, this this one about Arsenal winning duels in the game against, they played Newcastle, they won 2-1. And it was the most physical game of football that I've watched in a long time. And right after the game, I was like, hey, let's write a little debrief on the game. And this kind of thing is what really excites me, is that I don't have, like, as much as I have ideas about, what should I say? How should I say it? I have ideas about long, like, prolonged series of things. So let's say I start a YouTube series where I analyze a team in the Premier League. So I analyze Liverpool, then I analyze Chelsea, then I analyze Arsenal, whatever. The fact that there's always sports on means that there's always something to write about. And because I really, really enjoy analyzing football and analyzing sports and analyzing basketball. It means that I can watch a game, write down some notes, and then write an article about it, and it counts as work, right? The fact that they are playing, the fact that the NBA has 82 games in a year means that they're just giving me work. And I can pick which one I want to talk about. I can choose the really enjoyable games. I can choose Liverpool because it's my favorite team, or the Cavs because they're my favorite team, or literally all of these different things. And I think this is something that I don't know if I should say compared to most people or just in general, but I have the ability, I guess, to make something out of what should be nothing. Like, you shouldn't be able to be playing FIFA and create this article that actually makes sense from it, right? Most people will say there's barely any similarities between European and American football, but the fun of it for me is that, like, I find the link, right? That I find the way to make them similar, not to make them similar, but to draw similarities. And I think that's what I got from studying philosophy, is that sometimes, especially in my master's degree, because I wasn't doing any reading in terms of like extra readings and stuff, like I quite simply had to draw similarities between the things that I had read, because otherwise I wouldn't have anything to write about. And somehow I was able to do it really well, and I did really well. And now I'm able to do that for this, right? For these articles and for this little brand that I'm kind of building. So yeah, that's the fun of it now. And I think that's what's really exciting me about this podcast, is that I can literally pull up a tactics board, right? And say, hey, look, Liverpool line up like this. This is what they do in possession. This is what they do out of possession. And I can literally talk about it for like an hour and 15 minutes. And that is one of the things I love about sports the most, is just talking about X's and O's. So it being related to these articles and being related to these YouTube videos and that being related to these reels, it's very exciting. It is definitely overwhelming because I actually have no help. I don't know if that's because I'm not asking for help, but at the same time, like, I don't actually know who to ask for help, because like I simply don't know what to do. Like, I don't know, like, how does somebody help you do all of these things, right? Like, I'm not paying anybody to do any of this stuff for me. So at that point, you are literally in it on your own. So when you're trying to run all of these things, it might get a little bit difficult. But I'm definitely bought into it. Like, I used to have this fear. I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but I used to have this fear that I was one of those people that just did stuff that was easy until it became difficult, and then when it became difficult, they stopped doing it. And when I would, take a break from the podcast, I low-key used to think that that's what it was, is that there were times in my life or times in the year where recording a podcast episode was really easy, so that's why I was doing it. And then as soon as I was like having a bad week or whatever, I didn't. And then I was like, I don't think I'm being fair to myself, because I actually have so much other stuff to do. Like, I quite literally have to go to practice 4 times a week. I have to play a basketball game on Wednesday night. I have to do social stuff. I have to run the basketball club. So asking yourself to also run a podcast and a YouTube on the side and write articles is like actually a lot. And then I realized that that isn't the case when I flipping started learning how to touch type, right? I have spent 5 hours. For those of you who can't see the screen right now, what's currently on the screen is my typing.com history. And I have spent 4 hours, 52 minutes and 46 seconds touch typing. So for those of you who don't know what touch typing is where you learn to memorize the keyboard and don't look at it when you type. So on the screen right now is a little image of which finger should touch which key and, all of that, right? And for my entire life, I never learned how to do this. And I actually didn't realize how people who were quick typers typed quickly. I just didn't understand. I was like, bro, what are you doing? Like, how are you managing to do that? And then I literally Googled how to type faster because obviously for writing articles, I need to get these things done quicker or more efficiently. And I realized that this is how they do it. They touch type. So if you like, this is all of my uni work that I accumulated over the last 2 years. So there's still like 2 more years worth of work that isn't in this folder. All of these essays, so like this 15,000 word essay and this like 9,000 or 7,000 word essay here, like all of these essays, 5,000 word, 10,000 word, like whatever, I type them not knowing how to touch type. I would look at the keyboard for every key. Like I wouldn't even know what I was doing. And one day I literally woke up and I was like, no, I need to learn how to type faster. And I have spent in the last 7 days, like this does say all time, 4 hours 52, but it is literally in the last 7 days that I have spent 5 hours learning how to type. Like I set a 30-minute goal, like, yeah, let's do it 30 minutes every day. Brother, I hit 30 minutes and I say, nah, bro, I need more. So when I started doing this, I was like, bro, I'm really bought in. Like I really actually care about this. And like I really do want to like make it work, because if I'm spending 5 hours just flipping typing, and I'm really slow, like I'm 3 times slower than I was before, and I'm still putting the time and effort in. So the vision is definitely there, and I'm trying to just remember that it's all a process, because there was a day where this website had no articles on it. And I remember when the first one went up, I was like, oh, this looks so bad because there's only one article there. And then you fast forward like 2 weeks and now the first page is completely full. And I know that at the end of the year, you're going to have to flick through pages to get to all of the articles that I've written. And that's what excites me, is that it's not just about the right now. It's not just about what you have right now. It's about what right now means for the future, which I guess sounds kind of cliche because like who doesn't say that? Like everybody says that. But it's like I put out a reel and it gets 7 likes or 17 likes or 9 likes or 69 likes. And I'm not completely, like, it doesn't bother me because I'm just happy that this page is being filled up with content. You know, like I'm just glad that I'm actually putting the stuff out. Like I'm almost proud of it. So I think I have the right mindset. It sounds like I have the right mindset, especially like when you say it out loud. Like if somebody was saying what I'm currently saying, I'd say, "Damn, brother, you got the right mindset, cuz." But yeah, this is where we're at right now, and like I said, this episode, as much as I guess it probably wasn't necessary, it feels like it was, because there was definitely a gap between here, season 2, episode 5, and today. But yeah, that is essentially what we got here at the Reasons Podcast and everything else. So if any of you are interested in sports at all, in the slightest, go and read these articles, not just because you're interested in the topic, but just because learning about new sports, if you're interested in sports, is one of the best things I've ever done. Like 3 years ago, I didn't know anything about baseball. And now I can go to someone's baseball savant page and understand what like barrel percentage means, or understand what xwOBA is. And like you hear those things, if you have no idea what they are, and you're like, what the hell? But when you get it, and then you watch a baseball game, you're like, damn, like it makes so much sense why they pinch hit for him here, or they pinch run, or like they're platooning. And just go and read it, because I think, first of all, I think they're good pieces of work in terms of just the writing. But also like it could open new avenues for you in terms of sports. So yeah, I think that's what I got for you guys. Look out for the next episode, which, like I said, I've already recorded, but I just have to edit it and put it out and make sure that this one goes out first. And also, like, I'm kind of annoyed because I think that episode, half of it, the audio is messed up in the sense that there's delay so the guest and I had a little bit of delay because of the internet connection, but then in the second half it's completely fine. So I can't even edit it like easily. Like I might just leave it. I don't know. But anyway, that episode is going to come out, and then there will be future ones on similar topics, and there'll be certain stuff like me just analyzing certain things about certain teams. So look out for that. And yeah, I'm happy to be back. But for now, that's all I've got for you. Peace out.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Reasons Podcast. Make sure to tune into the next episode.